is TubeBuddy? Let's break it down fast. TubeBuddy is used by over 14 million creators to optimize, grow, and manage their YouTube channels. It's a browser extension designed to save you time, get you views, and supercharge your content. Ever wondered if changing your thumbnail or title could get you? Hey everybody, in today's video, I'll be going over the best sensitivity, settings, and keybinds for beginners and those of you who are new to keyboard and mouse. These settings are completely different from the last videos I've done on Fortnite settings, and I believe that these are the best settings that I've ever used in Fortnite so far. If you guys enjoy this video at any point, please like the video and subscribe to help me reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers. If you want to support me further, please use code XFierces in the Fortnite item shop. It would mean the absolute world to me. And now let's jump right into the settings. And now jumping right into the settings, we are currently on full screen 1920 by 1080, and I'm able to get 240 FPS in creative, so that's usually what I cap it at. But if you had a 144 hertz monitor and we're only able to reach 144 FPS, just set the cap to 144. Make sure you don't have unlimited on. Make sure you always have a cap on that is the closest to your actual in-game frame rate, because you'll get better performance that way. My brightness is on 124%. For my colorblind mode, I'm using my colorblind strength is on 8. 3D resolution I have set to 100. My view distance is on epic. Shadows are off. Anti-aliasing is off. My textures are on high. Effects are on low, and post-processing is also on low. VSync is off. Motion blur is off. You want to make sure you have motion blur off, because it's not a good setting. Make sure you have that turned off. Show FPS, personal preference, I just off. And for my rendering mode, I know in my previous videos I was always on DirectX 11, but I've since went ahead and switched it to performance mode, which I highly recommend you guys give it a go as well. That means that it automatically means that I can change these latency flashes off as well. For my movement, my toggle sprint is off. My sprint by default is on. Sprint cancels reloading is off. Auto open doors, I have that turned on. Hold to swap pickup is off. Toggle targeting, I have turned off. Mark danger when targeting, I have turned on. Auto pickup weapons is off. Consumables to the right is something that you want to turn on if you usually commonly put your consumables like your medkit. The meta on release I also have turned on, and every single, you don't need to press extra buttons on your keyboard. It just confirms the edit when you let go of your. For my game UI settings, these are all personal preference, but I have my HUD scale on, and here are the other settings if you want to quickly pause the video or go back in the video. From my last video, I actually have changed my sensitivity.
Oh, is it? Very good. I want to show you this. Tell me if you like them. Yeah? Okay, they're like a Lycra. They're not latex. Okay. I'm going to find out your size and order some.
sensitivity, not too much, but I have changed it a little bit. So for my x-axis sensitivity, I'm now using 12%, and for my y-axis sensitivity, I'm now using 12% as well. My targeting sensitivity and scope sensitivity have also changed. I now have them both at 31.5. And something I want to quickly mention for beginner keyboard and mouse players, make sure that when you're starting off on keyboard and mouse, you don't have a super high sensitivity, because with a really high sensitivity, yeah, you can probably flick a lot easier. You can flick harder, I guess. With lower sensitivity, you have more control of where your mouse is going and where you're actually aiming. So I recommend, if you're a beginner to keyboard and mouse and you're just trying to get comfortable with a mouse and a keyboard, start off with a low sensitivity. I'm currently using 800 DPI, 12% X and Y, 31.5 on targeting and scope. This is a little bit high for 800 DPI, so play with the sensitivity a little bit, because sensitivity is personal preference at the end of the day. Don't completely go off my sensitivity, but if you want to give it a try, I do recommend you do that just to see if my sensitivity is good for you. But if it's not, make sure you adjust it a little bit to where you feel comfortable with the sensitivity you're using. These are controller options. I don't play on controllers, so we're going to skip them. The audio settings I'm not going to go over, all personal preference stuff, but if you for some reason want to copy my settings, you can go ahead and do that. I don't know why you would want to do that, but you can do that if you want to. And now for my keybinds, the part of the video you guys have all been waiting for. So for my movement, I'm using WASD, obviously, because that's just the basic and generic movement. Auto run is on B. My crouch is on left control. For my combat settings, I'm using fire and target, left and right mouse button, obviously. My reload is on R. My use is on E. My harvesting tool is on tab. Now, this is where it gets a little bit different from my previous settings video. In my weapon slot 1, I'm using mouse wheel up, because usually in your first weapon slot, you have your shotgun. So I figured it's a lot easier to mouse wheel up instead of having to reach up to the number keys if you're not comfortable doing that, because maybe your hands are small, or you're just trying to warm up to the keyboard before you start going crazy with your fingers. I think mouse wheel up is a great thing for a beginner player, because it's super accessible and you can always mouse wheel up anywhere to pull out your shotgun quickly instead of having to reach up and click a number. It's just there, super convenient, and you don't need to do anything crazy to hit the button. And for weapon slot 2, I have on Q this time instead of 2 like I had before. I have it on Q because it's really close to tab, which is our pickaxe, and you really want keybinds that are super close together. So yeah, weapon slot 2 is on Q, weapon slot 3 is on 3 and 4. My weapon slot 5 is on middle mouse button, and usually weapon slot 5 is used for your meds, like your mini potions, your big shields, and your medkits, whatever heals you have in your fifth slot. That's what it's usually used for. So hitting your middle mouse button is very easy, very accessible to pull out your meds. Meds and shotgun are very accessible buttons. They're probably the most important things you're going to need. So that's why they're very simple keybinds to press. And for building, crouch while building is left control. And now here are the thumb mouse buttons. Every single settings video, I tell you that you need to have thumb mouse buttons. If you don't have a mouse with side mouse buttons, go down in the description. There's going to be links to some $20 cheap mice that you can buy that have thumb mouse buttons. Literally any mouse with side mouse buttons will do, because if you're not using thumb mouse buttons in 2021, you are really behind on the meta. Every single pro player, and I mean every single pro player, is using binds on their mouse to build. I cannot stress that enough. I mean, most of them anyway, except for the freaks that use F1, F2, F3, F4. Those are freaks of nature. But most people, most pros, most regular players are using thumb mouse buttons to build because it's so convenient. So go ahead and cop yourself a mouse with 2 side mouse buttons. Please, it'll save you in the long run, and it will make you a better player at the end of the day. So assuming you went and just bought a mouse with side mouse buttons, or you already have one, my wall is on my thumb mouse button 1, which is my back mouse button, and my floor is on C, which I press with my index finger because I don't really feel comfortable pressing it with my thumb. My stairs are on thumb mouse button 2. My roof is on left shift instead of V this time, which it usually is on. So I figure left shift is just an easier keybind because your pinky is usually always resting down there.
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.